What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK BLAM back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. I am finally back. I got some friends with me, as I typically do. I feel so good to be back. It's been 2 weeks since I've done the show. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I got some great guests with me. We're gonna be doing some great talking. Got some great topics lined up for you guys today. How are you guys? Everybody that's watching and listening, enjoying your weekend. Hope you guys are having a good one. I'm doing fantastic. We got some great stuff lined up today. So I'm going to go around the panel as I usually do and let my guests introduce themselves. And I also do have another, maybe one or two people joining here shortly, Livewire and Asthmatic. So they may pop in a little bit later. But I'm going to go ahead and go around the panel. We're going to go ahead and get started with my right-hand man, Paul. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's GKB here. Glad to be back here on the Shop Podcast. We missed a week there, but we're back, ready to rock. Let's do this.
For sure. Go ahead and shout out yourself, Predator.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Predator H2OS. Happy to be here. Haven't done a podcast in a while, but I will pop something out later this week as well.
For sure. And I do have a special guest here, my brother from another mother. Fuck what you heard about him. He's my dude. I don't give a fuck what anybody else say about it. This is my brother, my family. Go ahead and shout out yourself, Mooch.
What's good, man? No, I'm glad to be on the shop, man. It's fun to come on this show. I really do enjoy the chemistry that you put together, PTK, and we have a good chemistry plan. We game out and jam out every couple nights a week together, and then when we get on this, we just do it right. So you're the host with the most, man, so bring it on. Let's go.
Appreciate it. Everybody, too, like I said before, you guys, if you have questions or anything, the live chat is enabled. Go ahead and throw all your questions in live chat. I'll pick 2 or 3. We'll go over them afterwards, try and get all you guys' questions. So let's go ahead and get started. Got some great topics lined up. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the Xbox PS4 cross-platform situation. Now, it's not necessarily going to happen, but it was stated that Xbox has enabled or made it possible for this to possibly happen. Now, my take on it is that I know it'd be cool. Obviously, I'd love to play against somebody in a third-party game, play against somebody in Call of Duty who's playing on a PS4 or a PC or something like that. So I don't mind at all. I think it's a neat idea. Something that I've kind of it's kind of like on that it's kind of one of those pipe dreams. You think about it'd be cool to play against somebody on a completely different system. But I want to go ahead and obviously get the panel's take on the idea of the whole cross-platform feature. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our special guest, Mooch. What do you think about the possible cross-platform feature?
Well, I'm torn. I'm torn on it, and I'm on the record right now saying that I'm for it, and I'm for it because it is for the benefit of the overall gamer. Okay, because you take a game. Let's just use Black Ops 3. It's an 800-pound gorilla in the room. Everybody knows the game. We know that after a certain duration, the game comes out in November. By around February, your friends are done with it. Everybody's kind of done with it. So the game starts to dwindle, starts to die. The map packs don't bring it back to life. However, on each console, there's probably a good 25% that linger, right? Well, if you could blend those two, in theory, between PS4 and Xbox, that's very good for the game. Now you're at 50%, user base again, 25 from each camp. And it keeps the game very active. So as far as the developers go, as far as gamers go, it is good. On the other hand, in reality, I don't want anything to do with those goddamn bastards on the other side. And let me just explain why without sounding so crude. Here's the thing. There's just a thing about playing against. When the whole PC Xbox thing came out about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and everybody was kind of up in arms saying, I don't want nothing to do with Win 10, Win 10 fam's not for me, this and that, whatever. You can still have those feelings. But I've always said that I don't have a true problem with the integration between a Windows 10 store, which is owned by Microsoft, and Xbox, which is owned by Microsoft. It's the same family. The money's going to the same place, and it's bettering our first-party games, okay? I don't have an issue with that. Now, to say we both play together, like I say, there's a reason that, we just don't play together, you know what I mean? And I don't see it happening because Sony hates Microsoft. Now, if you tuned into Xbox Nation on Crap's channel, a bit of this will be repetitive, but if you haven't, stay tuned. This makes a lot of sense. Microsoft competes with Google, Apple, okay, with Bing and Google Search, Apple
Amazon.
with the phones and Amazon and the Surface versus the iPads, the phones versus Windows Phone. Microsoft has a lot of enemies out there, okay? They have a lot of I don't want to use the word enemies, competitors.
Yeah, competitors.
And Sony has one, Microsoft. They hate Microsoft. And that's why you won't see Sony. Sony's going to do whatever they can. First of all, what they did the other day when this was brought up to them, it was a little tongue-in-cheek, and it was a little bit of a white glove smack to the face. When they said to Sony, what do you think about Microsoft offering this now? They were like, well, we've been doing this since 2002. So basically saying, we've been here and screw Microsoft. We don't really care if they're coming to the party late. So they already kind of did something really kind of just, not real classy in my opinion. Second of all, they don't want to help Microsoft out in any which way. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I like staying in my own, if you will, gene pool. I have no problem sticking with the way things are. And to be honest with you, allow me to just paraphrase Crap Gamer for a second. I think if it comes to multiplayer first-person shooters, I think as a whole, I'm not talking just for myself. I'm talking about as a whole. I think we would smack most of those PS4 players around because they're just not. Shit. Well, they're not good at it. I mean, that's not. What are they, come on, they're spending they spent 9 years waiting for The Last Guardian. They've been walking around playing some game called Nino Kuni for 9 years. Where you're a midget elf looking for magical fairy dust. Look, that's fine. Okay, I don't care if that's what you're into. That's what you're into. I'm not making fun of that, but I'm saying you can't go and walk around in a garden for 9 years. Then tell me you want to pick up an AK-47 and go dance. So my point is just I don't think it's going to happen, PTK. Yeah. Do I think it's a bad thing? No. If it happens, I'll definitely partake in it. I'd like to play in tournaments. I think it'd be fun. But I don't think it's going to happen because Sony just doesn't like Microsoft. That's kind of my point.
All right. Let's go ahead and get your point. Hard to follow that shit up. Let's go ahead and get good luck, Paul. Go ahead, brother. Good luck, Paul.
Yeah, it's all good. The crossplay I've been wanting since like the tail end of the OG Xbox and well into the 360. I've always thought like playing against PS4 players would be a lot of fun. And if you think about it, like the cost for devs would go down as well because they won't have to have two separate servers running the game for PS4 networks and PC and Xbox too. So then you have one server set for everybody to play on. So the development cost would go down. I think overall it would be a good thing. I do have to agree with Mooch that I don't think Sony is going to do it because Sony has nothing to gain from this. Microsoft has everything to gain from this. It would bring up their player pool there. And just to end my side of it here is, let's be honest, like if we got to play against the PS4 fans, it really wouldn't be that much fair because we'll just destroy the shit out of them anyway. So.
Absolutely. Here.
Oh,
hey,
my
gamer tag is GKB. Anytime you want to come up.
Yeah, he ain't hiding. He's not hiding.
What a way to start a podcast, everybody.
Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ. I'm going to have to turn around and fucking be, what is that independent politician's guy's name? I can't even remember his name. But anyway, go ahead, Predator.
Fuck, man, I don't know if I can follow that. Both of them. Man, I mean, they basically covered everything. I think my only issues are like, the whole key phrase there, possibly. It's one of those things that you have to wait and see. And it's like, and from my understanding, it's up to the devs if they want to allow this. So it's like with anything, if it's going to put too much work on the devs, they're not going to do it. If it's going to, it's like the cloud. I mean, like Microsoft has come out and said, hey, we'll let Sony use the cloud if they want to. They're not going to do it. So I don't think Sony's going to do this either. So this is one of those things where like the opportunity is there to have it happen, but it's probably not going to happen. And there's certain games I don't want to see on there. I really don't want to see shooters on there. Like games like Rocket League are fine, but like there's a definite advantage, especially when you're talking about, because we're basically been talking about Microsoft versus Sony, but they're also talking about PC as well. So
and that's a definite advantage for PC players. You do not want to play against no keyboard and mouse, man. That is
I don't want to play against keyboard and mouse playing a shooter. I don't mind, like I said, games like Rocket League. There's some other funner games that are able, that I would love to see have that capability. But I also want to know if I'm playing against someone who's using keyboard and mouse, or if I'm playing against someone who's using the PS4.
Well, maybe they could somehow, distinguish between them. Like once you go into matchmaking, somehow they could not necessarily separate.
I would like to have the
Make
option
it
to be like, okay,
so.
I don't want to play with these guys because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get on there and they're going to see you're playing on Xbox and you're going to get like these motherfuckers here in chat right now. They're going to get on there, see you playing on Xbox, and going to start running their mouth and talking shit to you the whole damn time about your inferior system and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean,
Mhm.
of course, again, they'd probably get destroyed, you know, but so they can take their lumps if they like it.
Oh my goodness. All right, cool, cool. All right. So, like I said, I mean, I kind of share the same opinion. I mean, if there, as long as you make a distinction between like who you're playing with, and they give you options of, okay, if I want to play, this particular way, or I'd rather not play, against everybody from, these other consoles. I think it's just more options is always nice. Like you said, if it's up to the developers, if it's gonna make them do more work, or it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, or make, take the time of development as far as making the games longer, then you may not see, even if it was true and it was happening, you may not see a lot of them implemented. Now, that's true depending on the type of game also too. Rocket League, games like that work perfect for, cross-platform play, but shooters is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? That keyboard and mouse, and that's a distinct advantage, and they have far better hardware typically too, so they get better ping, better, way less latency and things like that. So they would have a huge advantage. So maybe like Rocket League, things like that will work perfectly. I definitely don't want to see shooters taking that route either. So that's kind of my opinion on that. So let's go ahead and move on with the next topic. Now, I know everybody, if you've been under a rock, you haven't heard about it. Microsoft was at GDC, and they had a party
Oh boy.
afterwards.
Hold on, you gotta get that music going, Blam.
Yeah, man, that's turn on the super music. No offense to anyone in the chat, because I don't want to see no messages later on. So yeah, but yeah, they had a party, and there were a couple scantily clad women. It was a party. Obviously there were a lot of men around. This is more than likely a male-dominated industry. And somebody saw that and made a big deal out of it. Now, personally, for me, those are grown women. They're of age. They're not like they had, 12-year-old, girls in there dancing around in bikinis and stuff. They're of age. They knew what they were doing. They were paid, and it wasn't like they were in there throwing cash at them or anything like that. They were just dancers, entertainment, if you will. No different than cheerleaders at a basketball game or something like that. So I don't really see the big deal, but I want to get you guys' opinions on it. It's kind of Phil came out. He did a statement, kind of apologizing for it. I really don't see why, but that's a whole other situation. But I want to get you guys' opinion on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with Paul, because before the chat started, he definitely had a lot to say about this. So I want to get your opinion.
So first off, I want to start off with, women are like a gift to us, like knuckle dragon cavemen that are on this planet. Okay, I want to start off with that. That being said, whoever is complaining, crying, whatever about this party needs to drink a fucking tall glass of shut the fuck up. All right.
Nice.
You mean to tell me you're going to lose your mind about this party, but you're going to sit there on your goddamn couch, watch whatever sporting event, go to whatever convention, car shows, whatever, and see girls with even less on than what they had in that party? Like, give me a fucking break here. All right? And let me tell you something else. Like, if I was a developer and I'm going around to all these parties, mingling with people I probably already knew in the industry for years now, and probably some of the parties are pretty boring as shit, and then I go into Microsoft's, I'd be like freaking Ice Cube on Friday and being like, damn, Microsoft knows how to throw a party. Like, seriously, man. Like, what is the big deal here?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just let it be known that the person that did kind of get the ball rolling, I believe she's behind the feminist movement. She supports that movement. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not gonna call her explicitly a feminist, but I think she supports that movement. So that you kind of see where it's coming from. But go ahead, Predator. What's your opinion on the whole GDC party and the Phil Spencer apology and everything?
I don't think the apology was warranted. I mean, you can go to any club, any bar, any place in America in the summer and see women wearing the same shit these girls will probably be dancing and walking up and down the street.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my neighborhood. So sure. I don't understand. Like, and you have one woman, I want to say sexist. I don't know who she is or whatever, what she looks like. Probably some sexist, Butch Dyke looking chick, and I'm guessing. But I mean, don't be mad because these girls are in here twerking, looking better than you, and you're mad about the shit. So you want to go and make a big deal about it. No one else was complaining about this. No one else made it a big issue. And if I was in that party, the last thing I would have been thinking about is those chicks dancing on a platform. That's like every club you go to in America nowadays. Who
Yeah.
cares? Like
Pretty
it's like
standard.
yeah, it's like who gives a shit? Where's she been for the last 15, 20 years? It's just normal shit. I mean, and I don't want to come off as
Yeah.
sexist to the ladies that watch your podcast, but I mean, like, these ladies that are in this podcast probably wouldn't complain about this shit if they went to the bar. They might say something about what they have on or something like that, but it wouldn't be a big shitstorm like it is right now. I don't think Phil should have apologized. I don't think it was that big a deal as somebody tried to make it seem. And I don't know what happened in our American culture where just because somebody doesn't like something, they feel like they have to go say everything about it and make it a big fucking deal. It wasn't anything. And like Paul said, take a glass, shut the fuck up, and move on. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not everybody. I know we sound a little crude, but it's reality, people. Like I could walk out the door right now. Matter of fact, if I go 3 blocks east, I'm probably gonna see more women in less outfits than those 2 women. So it's not like something that it's not reality. So I know we sound a little crude and maybe a little harsh, but hey,
but honestly, BLAM, like,
dry.
if you go to any club like around where you guys are, like, do you see anybody like in nun outfits going to the clubs or anything like that? Like seriously, like.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean,
Pretty standard.
they were doing, man. They're getting paid for it. It ain't like they were sex trafficked or something like that.
Right. They're not like strippers. They're not like prostitutes or anything. They're just dancers. Like.
Yeah.
I bet if
the entertainers
naked dudes in their dancing, she wouldn't have said shit about it.
Right. Exactly.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get your opinion. Mooch, how you feel about that whole situation, man?
Well, like we were saying when we were going on the other side, these guys just nailed the coffin shut. They got it nailed down. I mean, here's the deal. First of all, you go to your local mall, you know you're going to see something. I've seen worse in the mall, man. I've seen worse in the mall. So, I mean, there was a time when actually the schoolgirl look was something that the girls were doing in high school. Like, that was just a look. Like, the girls were doing the knee-high socks, the short ruffled skirt, and of course they weren't tying the white button-down shirt just below their bra, but it was pretty darn close. So what they did was hired. They were paid for that. That was their job. I don't think Phil should have had to issue any kind of apology. And listen, here's the thing. I actually, before I went on the attack of anything by those women that made the claim, I actually do what I usually do best, and I went after the media. The media decided to take that picture of those girls at a 45-degree angle, which made the skirt look even shorter. And they play this because here they are. They're at an amazing party, which they were enjoying. I'm sure the media was enjoying the free booze. And, yeah, right? They were enjoying the free food and the free booze. They're having a good time. And they're like, how can we actually get our names on something? Because I can't get my name on shit. And they're like, I got an idea. Oh, look here's a homely girl that just pasted this thing on Twitter. Maybe we should roll with this. And they did. And they pushed it, and of course another syndicate picked it up, another affiliate picked it up, boom, 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 boom. Here we are, we're talking about it. By Phil Spencer doing the apology, though, what's nice about that, even though I don't condone it, I don't think he had to, I don't think there would have been any backlash on Microsoft at all for that. What it does is it puts the immediate kibosh on the media. What's the media want him to do other than that? Fire his entire staff because somebody decided to hire girls that were dancers, that's their job, and that was just to make the... Listen, there's a lot of after parties. You guys... Everybody watches the Emmys, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, and everyone's wearing a tuxedo. And girls are wearing anywhere from $2,000 to $25,000 dresses, okay? All these things are so glamorous. But have you seen the pictures on TMZ of the after parties? Not so glamorous. You've got people doing drugs off each other's bodies, okay? What I'm trying to listen. These people work really hard, and if we don't know that and you say you're a quote-unquote gamer and you hang out, you know enough about developers that they're working almost 24-hour days when they're about to go gold just weeks before. They bust their hump. They work very hard, especially these AAA guys, these GDC guys, the computer build, the hardware, software people. They want to cut loose. They've got these parties that they have like 3 or 4 times. This is their Golden Globes, okay? This is their party. And they went to their after party, and you have a problem with this? Listen, this is America, okay? And this is the problem in this country. We've gotten too soft. We've got to harden up. We've got to start. You ever see? I haven't even watched all 9 seasons of Mad Men, but watch Mad Men, okay? Watch how things used to be in the 50s and 60s, and then tell me how it is today. Like, guys used to go from work to the bar and have shots, this and that, hang out. There would be women in there. There'd be this and that going on in there, and they'd still go home to their families. You know what I'm saying? Like, things were different back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't condone the bad parts of that. But now we're going to take a simple subject like you hire dancers to be at a dance event, a party, and that's a problem. Listen, I'm going to tell you this much, okay? I've never been to a party without girls dancing. So if you were at a party without girls dancing, that says something about yourself.
You're
You got
the wrong
problems.
kind of party, homie.
You're at the wrong party. So that's where I'm going to leave it.
Man, okay. Well, I mean, I share the same sentiment, everybody. Shocker. But yeah, I feel the same way, everybody. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, maybe it was a dry day for news. I mean, there wasn't really much going on. I mean, I know GDC had just happened, but really, people, let's be. I found out too. Somebody just said in the comments. Let me go ahead and give this person a shout out. That she happened to be a female developer. I don't remember who said it. I have to scroll up, but she happened to be a female developer that was there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there were other female developers, and I didn't really see any of them making a big deal about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of women there who happened to be in that industry that went to that party and didn't. Employees, regular women, people's wives, family members, things like that, and they didn't really make a big deal out of it. So I don't really see why she would take that route. It's okay expressing your opinion, but to go as far as, and I understand Phil. He's a corporate head. He has to do the politically corporate correct thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he may have had Satya may have patted him on the shoulder like, hey, Phil, just say something, dude. It's not that big of a deal, but say something anyway, so that nobody come asking me why my employee didn't say anything.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how the conversation.
So I'm pretty sure it was just a normal, just make a statement. The PR department wrote something up for Phil, said, here, tell him this shit, and let's go on about our day.
I mean, if you look at it, even like in the chat, like in this podcast right now, some of the females in there, like, it's not a big deal. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and move on from that particular topic. Don't forget, everybody, rate, comment, and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to Paul has a channel. Mooch has a channel. Also, Predator has a channel. So go check those guys out. They do make great content also, too. But let's go ahead and move on from this particular topic. And Live will be joining us shortly. He did just hit me up here. So let's go ahead and talk about this new news that just recently happened today. Quantum Break is going to be releasing really soon, and we have a glitch in the Matrix. Now, Digital Foundry came out, and apparently they've done what they always do. Weeks ahead of time, come out and said the game is 720p, but they're not quite sure, as stated by them in the game. Well, we can't really tell what it is, but it looks like here we've used our Digital Foundry, made eye spy glasses, and we found out it was 720p or whatever the case may be. Now, it is been confirmed by Sam Lake and by Remedy that the game is 1080p. They said this a while ago. They've come out and said the game is 1080p and it will run in 1080p. But there are, Paul, you gave me the term earlier, and I don't want to screw up the term. What was it earlier? There are parts in the game. You said it was. What's it called?
Like there's an ambient occlusion pass and some of the effects passes that are rendered out in 720p. That's just to help the performance.
Exactly.
So they went on to say that. And in my opinion, I think that's where they're getting their pixel count from, is from those ambient occlusion passes, because it'll show the jaggies and stuff, and that's where they're getting their count from, because it's a 720 pass. But the game and Remedy has said that it's 1080p. So,
and regardless of whether it is or isn't, I've heard from multiple people that have played the game early, and some people here on the panel have heard that people that have beta codes and things like that, or just early access codes. Sorry. That the game is beautiful. It's gorgeous. The particle effects are insane. Nothing like we've seen this generation thus far. So I don't have any doubts whether or not the game's going to be nice looking. And if you're on a 720p TV, you're not going to get 1080p. I just want to tell everybody that. So go get yourself a 4K or a 1080p TV. Then you'll see 1080p. So there's a distinction there. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. You got a 720p TV. Don't care if the game is 1080p. You're only going to get 720. So let's go ahead and get you guys' opinion on that. GKB, go ahead and roll, brother, since you had already mentioned something.
Just Digital Foundry. This is another like YouTube and website that needs to go the way of the game trailers and just go by and drink a tall glass of shut the fuck up too. Again, they come out with their clickbait, videos saying, hey, it's 720p possibly. We can't confirm any of it. We reached out to Remedy. Remedy has given them a bunch of documents saying, hey, a couple of passes in the game are rendered out at 720p, but the native resolution is 1080p. I don't know what else they need to justify that the game is going to run at 1080p. I mean, the devs said it themselves, so I don't know why they're second-guessing it. But, just like The Division, 98% of the game is rendered out in 1080p. but they found a couple that were just slightly under, like 1% or 2. So they're just gonna go apeshit over it. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things I want to take away here, everybody, is that this has not been beneficial to anybody. Like, this is definitely not beneficial to the people who actually work on the game. That you come out and say, hey, this game isn't what they told us it was going to be. Let people play the game. Take some time to play the game first, then come later on and say, hey, this is what the game actually looks like. Especially when you have like unconfirmed information, then you do get documentation from the developer and saying, hey, this game is actually what it is, and you kind of look silly. So wait a little while. They've already come out and confirmed, and I trust Remedy. You know what I'm saying? I trust Remedy. They make beautiful games. Alan Wake held up very well. I don't know if anybody's gotten a chance to play it as far as backwards compatibility, but the game still looks really, really nice. So I trust Remedy. They're doing something fantastic with Quantum Break, and that's really the only thing that matters ultimately. So go ahead, Fred. What's your opinion on that?
I'm a gamer, dude. I don't care how many P's it has. If the game is enjoyable, I'm gonna play it anyway. I just hate that Digital Foundry does this shit like consistently right before a game releases that has a lot of hype. I mean, they do this especially with Xbox exclusives. They do this all the time. They come back with some bullshit that they tested pre-beta. They did it with Halo 5 in the beta. They were testing the fucking beta.
Yep.
Like, dude.
Not even the beta, just the E3 footage too.
Yeah, like, why are you testing shit that ain't even out yet? Let the developers finish what the fuck they're working on and then test it. Like, stop doing this shit before the game launches, because things happen after you get this code. There's gonna be a patch, I'm sure, et cetera, that's gonna make the game look and run smoother than whatever copy they have right now. So just wait it out.
Predator, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that there is a massive, and this is also somebody that
day
is
one
in
patch.
the know, huge day one patch that's coming out that's supposed to so everybody that's reviewing the game was supposed to be playing the game and enjoying it. They weren't supposed to break their monocle out and their 10x fucking, you know what I'm saying? So to be honest with you, there is something massive coming day one. So even when you launch that game on April 5th at 12:01 a.m., you will see. If it's digitally, I'm sure you'll already have it. If it's a disc you're popping in, you'll see that you have an additional update once you do. But go ahead, Predator. I apologize to interrupt.
No, that's all right. And that's my point, man. It's like there's always something else, and I would really wish that some of these guys would go back and look at these games a second look, give it, after it launches, give it like 3 or 4 months and go back and look at it again and see what's changed, You don't get that. You just see the comparison videos from Digital Foundry, like the pre-launch videos and stuff like that, but they've never gone back and said, hey, let's do a second look at this game. Like Titanfall, perfect example. That game got better after launch.
Oh, they do a second look at it. They do a second look at it after PlayStation fanboys say, hey, this can't be right because it's 1080p. So
like they did with the Division. The alpha, beta Division. I mean, they'll go back and try and correct the mistake to make it look worse, but they won't go back and make it, and say, hey, we fucked up, and this game actually runs at this rate, at 1080p, et cetera, et cetera. So, man, this whole generation has just been about P's, man. It sucks because we're gamers. We want to play good games. I don't care how many P's it is. If it plays well and I enjoy it, and it's a good game.
And I think this goes for we're talking about an Xbox exclusive game, but I think it goes for any game, even multiplats. When you come out and you do this in any game, this is Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, it does not matter. We're talking in this specific situation about an exclusive, but any game in general, I think it's not necessarily beneficial. When you have things like day one patches, it kind of makes your analysis before the game even come out obsolete because you're not getting the full experience. There's patches, there's things that they can fix along the way, and the games nowadays, this is not Nintendo where you get the cartridge and that's it. There's no patches. This is not Nintendo or in the 80s where we didn't get any of that. They update these games on the fly. These games get better over time.
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of makes your initial review or whatever you want to call it kind of obsolete when you do things like this. And I want to give a huge shout out before I let Mooch go. We have 52 viewers in here, and that's awesome. I really appreciate you guys rocking out. I know I've been away, like I said before, and I'm not going to get all sentimental, but I really appreciate you guys coming out and showing support, taking time. Your nice Saturday afternoon, you guys could be doing anything, but you're here. I really, really appreciate everybody. But go ahead, Mooch. What's your opinion, brother?
Well, I'm going to leapfrog and jump off of what GKB was saying because I'm with him on this. Now, every single time I turn on Twitter, whenever there's an unfortunate thing like what happened with game trailers or what happened to Lionhead, you have to sit there and you've got to sit there and watch 75 or 150 tweets being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, these people lost their jobs." And listen, man, I'm a realist. I tend to believe you lose your job because you sucked at it. And here's the reason I say what I say. Game trailers lost their job because nobody wanted to tune in and prescribe or subscribe or hang out or give any kind of attention to those people anymore because the bias was real. The bias was coming at you in full force, so people stopped subscribing. That's why they went down, okay? And that was rightfully so. When it comes down to digital foundries, they're nothing but a cancer. They're a cancer to gaming. They're a cancer to the hobby that everybody likes.
Amen, Mooch. Keep preaching, brother.
That's the way it is. These people need to go down, and when they do, you'll never see one sympathetic tweet come from me. As a matter of fact, you might actually get a face shot of me pouring a full bottle of fucking Chris on my face. You know, listen, I'll be really honest with you. I can't stand them. What they did today is one of the most disgraceful things, and this is the problem. We don't have journalism anymore. We've got liars and rumors. We've TMZ. TMZ is what any kind of publication is just TMZ at this point. Well, I kind of heard it from a guy who said it, and he knew it. He sat next to a guy who knew somebody else. What the hell does that mean? That's not even high school banter. Like, high school banter held more weight. So when these guys go out and say, well, we located something this year 720p, but we're not really sure, and then we reached out to Remedy, but we're not really sure. If you're not really sure, don't hit print. Okay? Don't hit print. Because what you're doing is you're actually liable for false information. And it starts this storm of things that go out. Now, and you, by all means, GKB, butt in here when you got a little bit more data than I do.
Sure.
What had happened here in Slight is if you watch the Digital Foundry's video, there's corners of each of the freeze frames where they said that they had certain, where they actually start to pixel count.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing that in the left corner, the right corner, these small things that were way off into the distance. And they were saying, as far as they could see, that it looked like it was going to be around 720p, where they were doing the small box cut in the back of this one screenshot. So the person that I talked to that was playing this said that the physics and the particle effects and all the things that are going on screen are things like we've never seen before, which is awesome. Just fantastic stuff I was hearing. It was really cool. And my point being here is that, if anything, that algorithm that GKB I think was talking about earlier still gives a native 1080p, but they've got the ability, and only Remedy could do something like this. This is ingenious, to be able to take things that are non-factors. Like when you look at the video Digital Foundries did, it was like a cracked window in the back room. It was like a plant that was knocked over sideways that they were zooming in. It was a ledge, just a ledge, a concrete ledge. And they were like, when they highlight, that was where they like pinpointed roughly like estimates of 720p being shown. But right, the rest of the screen is showing 1080p and what's actually happening in live time. So they have some sort of system enabled, and GKB, tell me if I'm wrong here,
sure,
where they can actually portray the 1080p forward by dumbing down some of the certain aspects or characters in the background. Does that hold a little bit of weight? Is that the way that's the way I read into it?
Right. Yeah, you're correct. Also, see where they get in the pixel count and everything on those ledges is the ambient occlusion. That's kind of a lot of the shadow, right, and it kind of makes everything pop out. So they're taking a 720p occlusion pass that's been upscaled to 1080 because the rest of it is native 1080p.
Yes.
And then they're pixel counting on top of that shadow detail, which is coming from the occlusion patch, which is 720p. Correct. So that's where they're getting their numbers from. So please don't listen to Digital Foundry. They are not Remedy. They do not know what they're talking about most of the time.
The game looks so good they can't even tell.
Remedy's such a God, how do I put this? They're such a novel company. I mean, there's so much respect there. I don't know if you've ever seen A Few Good Men, but you don't call a colonel who's been serving for 25 years and put him on the stand unless you got some serious evidence against them. You know what I'm trying to say? Or you get court-martialed. My point being is that Remedy has been nothing but upfront. They're amazing people. The man works day and night. That's Sam Lake. I don't think there's a more dedicated son of a bitch in the business. And they came out and said it was 1080p. They didn't say, they're not conniving people. They're not like trying to pull a fast one. They would be damn proud if that was a 720p game. You know what I'm trying to say? They'd be damn proud to say this is a 720. They told you it was 1080p because it is. So let me tell you this much, everybody. Do me a favor. If you happen to want to tweet out, and the day's not far away, especially once the new consoles come out in 2019. So whether it be 2019 or if we get any kind of add-ons in the future with the Xbox Slim and Digital Foundry's job goes by the way of the dodo bird, wants everything 60 frames, 1080p regardless.
We can only hope.
Please save me personally all the let's all put our heads down and say a prayer for the people who lost their jobs at digital foundries, because I'll be saying good riddance and good luck with that unemployment check. Fuck.
Man, all right. I mean, I guess
Hey, listen, Blam, look at here's what's great about YouTube, right? We get to come on here, and people get the right in this country to hit. I want to listen to, PTK. I want to listen to Mooch. I want to listen to GKB. I want to listen to Console Corner. I want to listen to Predator. If you wanted to tune in, this is what you don't get when you turn to page 6 in the newspaper. This is what you don't get when you turn to IGN, because they're all bought out and there's some kind of money going on. Look, I've always said it. Do I think it's a check? No. Do I think it's royalties? Probably. Do I think it's fanfare stuff like your name engraved into a PS4? Absolutely. But when you tune into these types of shows, you're going to get what you want to hear. And these are the things that people are truly feeling, PTK. That everyone at home that listens to all of these shows and goes from my show to your show to BGST to everything, it's because they truly feel this way. And even the haters, listen, the haters got to hate. That's their job, okay? That is their job. They wake up and go to work to do this. They hate us, but at the same time, they're probably like, that son of a bitch made a good point. Let me hate. You know what I mean? So, so that's the whole thing with that. And sometimes it comes out harsh, and they don't want to hear it. But realistically, when game trailers did close, even if you're one of those people, and I'm saying this rhetorically, nobody has to answer, even if you were someone that wrote a tweet out, as you were writing out, I really hope everybody's okay and gets a job, when you hit send, you were like, fuck you. You know what I mean? And that's how we all feel, man.
All right, man. Well, I mean, look, Mooch, I'm bulletproof when it comes to this YouTube stuff.
You're my boy, Mr. Neutral. That's true.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we do it for fun, and I don't look at it as anything else. So anybody that wants to comment about anything I have to say, that's fine. It's free rights. All you in America, it's free rights, freedom of speech, all that good stuff. Please exercise that. So I don't have any problem with that. But yeah, the whole digital foundry situation, I think it's very damaging. It's not necessarily a good thing. I guess they have their place, but most of the time, it's not like something like this when you have a company, and like Mooch stated, Remedy does not have a reason to sit up there and say the game is 1080p if it's not 1080p. Like, what does that benefit them to say that if it's actually not 1080p? Like, I have no reason. They work too hard. Any developer, like, how would that benefit anybody? If you're you bust your ass making these games. You go months, even years, taking time, working 18, 20-hour days to put these games out. Why would how is that going to benefit you at all? If anything, it's going to make you look worse once everybody finds out that it's actually not 1080p or whatever you said it was. Whether it be resolution, whether it be frame rate, whether it be content, whether it be whatever it is, it's not going to benefit any developer. So I don't really see why and I have no reason to not believe sound like they make fantastic games, from Max Payne to fucking Alan Wake to Quantum Break to whatever they make next. I'm buying the shit. So that's all that really matters. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all that really matters. So okay, everybody, let's go ahead and move on from that particular topic. Looks like Live is having some trouble getting in the podcast, everybody. So I'm not sure. We're gonna keep trying throughout the show to see if I can get him in here though. So I want to go ahead and discuss something that this is kind of a shot in the dark. We don't actually know if this is happening, but I did see an article on Twitter maybe 2 or 3 days ago about a possible leak with Red Dead Redemption 2. We've kind of gone back and forth about Rockstar and then making a Red Dead Redemption 2. I did find it ironic that Red Dead was playable for a little while on the Xbox One for a short while before they snatched it down. I did find it ironic. So I'm wondering if there may be something, and we've kind of thrown this shot in the dark before about Xbox maybe having some marketing deal with Rockstar for the next Red Dead 2, because look at it, with Fallout, with Quantum Break, you're getting these backwards compatible games with the other game. So I think it'd be a cool deal. Maybe you get Red Dead 1 if you buy Red Dead 2. So I'm wondering if we may see an announcement from Rockstar about another Red Dead 2 on Xbox stage or E3, on anybody's stage. I like to see the game come out regardless of who has the marketing deal. Just saying that I think it would be very cool with a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 if Microsoft did have that particular deal or they had that ball in their court. But I want to get you guys' opinion also. So go ahead, Mooch. Let me see what you got to say about this, brother.
Well, Brett, here's the deal. The one thing I don't care for in the way Microsoft is approaching this is we all, as gamers, got really excited when they started talking about backwards compatibility last summer. And I've had a lot of fans come up to me and talk to me, and they were like, listen, here's the deal. I'm getting a little annoyed. And they kind of talked me into this. we want these games to just come out, okay? We want to play Red Dead Redemption. I've had Red Dead Redemption on disc for a long time. I've owned it on 360 since day one. But I still would like to. I'd rather play it on my Xbox One. And when you take things like Red Dead Redemption backwards compatibility, and then you say, hey, listen, this, and we can see this is what Microsoft's doing, right? They did it with Alan Wake. They've done it with the Rainbow Six franchise, Fallout, and it goes on and on. It's not going to end. And my whole point that I have a problem with is just release the backwards compatibility games, man. Like, just release them. If Red Dead doesn't come out till the fall or later, so we all can't play Red Dead on backwards compatibility because of that, that package deal. I'm not a fan of that. I say release these games, get them out there. It gives more credibility to your backwards compatibility. Your whole premise of doing it, the whole stance you made.
Yeah, and they did Mooch. They did change the fact that they're not going to be doing the dates, like how they had to date it every month. They were going to release certain games and things like that. They did away with that system, so I guess they're kind of hopefully moving in the direction that you're talking about. We're just putting the games out, really just.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, and at first I was thinking that too, but since they made that announcement, we've gotten even fewer games announced.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is what they really did was they just gave themselves more time. They basically told the audience to calm the hell down. Like, everybody calm down. Like, we're doing it on our clock, not your clock.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. If it's not ready yet, that's not what I'm bitching about. I'm not bitching about, get me another 150 games now. No. Take your time. But if you got Red Dead, release it. Don't wait. Don't make us wait till November or wait till February 2017 till you can do it as a package deal. I don't really think that's a huge selling point as far as the package deal anyway. I think it's better that you get as many backwards compatibility games out now and use that as your system seller. Being like, look at this. Not only can you do Xbox One games and these amazing graphics we're pulling out with Quantum Break and Gears 4, but you've got this amazing backlist of titles you can just pop in if you own and play for free.
Also, to be fair too, they did just recently get that store up too. So
that is true.
So the store, which wasn't there before, so that's not something people couldn't readily just easily go buy, the game off their system or something. So they did do that too, just to be fair. So I get what you're saying. I agree.
You're right, PTK, and I want to just say that I seriously, I have to agree with my boy Zaire all the way through on this. This is what Z says every single week on BGST. I didn't buy the Xbox One for Red Dead Redemption. I didn't buy it for BioShock 1, okay? Yeah. I bought it for next-generation games. So I am not complaining. Truly, I am not complaining. If they take forever with backwards compatibility, I'm okay with it. All I'm saying that is, if you have it, now the store's up, put it in the store. Let us use it, because it only helps your brand. That doesn't just help me, the consumer. It helps you. I'm buying a game I don't happen to have, A. B, it's another selling point for you to put on the box. So that's my whole thing with backwards compatibility. And as far as Red Dead Redemption, really quick, I'll say a sentence or two that I can't wait for Red Dead. I was a huge fan of the first one. I prefer Red Dead Redemption over any GTA. I'm probably going to get some eggs thrown at me for that. I buy GTA all the time, but GTA is just, it's so big, it's so involved that, sorry, man, once you leave college, I don't have time for that, man. You get in the car, you start to go towards a main mission in GTA 5, and then someone's shooting at you, you go over, you do this, and you go over and you buy a wardrobe, then you go over and have a sandwich, and by the time you're done with that whole thing, it's time for you to go to bed. You gotta go to work the next morning. So, that game takes for fuck ever. So Red Dead Redemption was a little bit more to the point. It didn't have quite that kind of world where you can get totally lost in. So I am looking very much forward to that, and I'm hoping that it ends up being a marketed item through Microsoft, since they hopefully are getting the backwards compatibility thing down around the same time.
All right, cool. GKB, what's your thoughts on the possible Red Dead 2, brother?
I'm pretty excited for a Red Dead 2. I have to, piggyback on what Mooch said there. I do think a lot of the backward compatible games are getting a little behind here because of, marketing deals and all that kind of stuff, so it's slowing it down. That being said, though, we've said it on multiple podcast before. We don't really play those. We've already played them, back in the 360 days. So for us on the panel, it's not a big deal for us. Yeah. With them, releasing it there for a short time, I do think, Red Dead 2 is coming. I was one of the guys that actually didn't play the Red Dead 2 Red Dead game. I played the Undead Nightmare, which was phenomenal. Why play the original when I could play as a zombie and all that kind of stuff and fight zombies and everything? That was just fantastic to me. I think I think I hope actually Microsoft gets the marketing rights for that, and we see it at E3 this year, and hopefully it comes out this holiday. Although this holiday is going to be pretty jam packed with a lot of stuff coming, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yes, it's a pretty packed holiday. Okay, what do you think about that, Predator?
Oh man, I'm excited. I didn't get to finish the first Red Dead, so this is a good opportunity for me to go back and play it. There's only a few titles for backwards compat that I actually look forward to, and this is one of them. And I want to piggyback off of what Mooch was saying too. If you got it, let it out. I mean, there's no sense in holding on to it. But I see that the marketing that they're doing with their games now, if it's a sequel, it seems like you're going to put that game on backwards compat for free. So it looks like it's out there. Like we obviously saw it, and you saw the spike that came for the backwards compat
Yeah.
version of it anyway. When on Amazon when it was announced, I mean, hell, I was even out looking for it, at GameStop. But I think the game's coming. I think it will get announced this year. If they don't, they'd be idiots to not put that game out there because they can see that it's what everybody wants right now. They've been asking for this game forever.
Yeah.
As far as the backwards compat issue, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but um, Microsoft has been putting out a lot of titles that nobody really has been asking for. I'm sure their top 10 is probably Call of Duty, one of the Call of Duties anyway. This game, Alan Wake was up there for a while. I mean, release those games. Figure out what you need to do, talk to the devs, and get those games out because that's what people are asking for. Some of these games they've been putting out for backwards compat, nobody's asking for. Nobody's playing. Um, and for the most part, I mean, we talked about this on the panel. Like how many of those games are we actually playing anyway? You probably have a
Yeah.
small list that you want, and the rest of them are just like, they might be in your library, but you're probably not going to play them again. You
Yeah.
know, it's the most wanted games that we want to see. If they told me they had a backwards compat and they were only releasing the top 150 games that are requested, I'd be happy. Not the bottom 150 games. So Red Dead 2's, I think it's coming. I think it will get announced because I think they have their own um, platform for E3 this year, don't they?
Who?
The people that make Red Dead.
Oh,
Rockstar?
Make Red Dead.
Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Rockstar?
Do they have their own platform this year?
I thought that was wasn't that UB
There's
and
like
EA?
three people have their
So I
own
know
list.
EA has their own. I know EA
I don't
has.
think Rockstar
I
is
don't
doing
think
their own.
Rockstar has their own.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think you'll see if Red Dead 2 is really coming out, Predator. I think you're going to see them take the stage with either Sony or Microsoft, whoever locks down that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean the early rumors were that Sony locked it down, but with all this talk about Red Dead Redemption being backwards compatible, it kind of took that rumor and it cooled it down a little bit because if they're going to launch it around the same time, just like we did with Fallout with Bethesda, it's not going to happen. It's not. It would be a Microsoft deal, but I'm not saying it's a Microsoft deal. I'm just saying if that's the tie-in and that's what if Red Dead Redemption comes out on backwards compatibility before the game Red Dead 2 is announced, it could go to Sony as far as marketing.
Mhm.
Who gives a shit? Let's be honest.
We all get it.
Yeah, I want the
Phil,
game. That's what I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marketing deals don't mean shit to me. Exclusivity means something to me as far as third party, and whether it be timed or not, it means something to me. And exclusive, of course, first party games. Other than that, marketing deals. Sony had the marketing deal for Star Wars, and the only reason that made a big deal was the movie came out a week later. You take the movie out of there, and it was just a regular Star Wars game that came out. I don't know. I don't know if it would have made that much of a big deal. Sony's conniving propaganda helped. Anybody walked by a GameStop saw the Star Wars at poster or cardboard cutout where it said Sony PS4 exclusive. But then if you look below it, it was just like a map pack or something. But they made it look like if you were walking by, you had to have a PS4 to buy that game. So Sony's really good at manipulating, and they've done such a good job. They've duped all these people that haunt our chat line every. So they're out there and it's working, bro. It's working.
You a mess. All right, cool. So great topic, everybody. And then just bottom line, everybody. Even the people that don't like us in the chat, we just want to see the game come out. So whether or not it's a marketing deal or not, we just want to see the game come out. I'm sure you guys will play it also too. So whatever, no big deal. So now we're gonna take questions now, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and take questions. So you guys throw all your questions that you possibly have. We're gonna take as many as we can. You know, I don't like to keep this too much longer than an hour because I know everybody has stuff to do. But we're gonna try and take as many questions as we can. What I'll do is I'll take a question, I'll just throw it to somebody in the panel. They'll answer it. We'll move on to the next one. So I do have a question. Shout out She Wolf. Shout out She Wolf, one of the first ladies of the podcast. She has a question here. She said, speaking of backwards compatibility, how do you guys feel that the preview members might be getting backwards compatible games first, like Halo Wars? I'll go ahead and throw that to you, GKB. How do you feel about that, bro?
Oh man, that's awesome. I'd rather give it to everybody, so everybody, because I mean, Halo Wars was pretty good, but I don't think a lot of people played it. I absolutely loved it, and I thought what they did and how they translated an RTS to a console was fantastic, and was perfect. I'm really excited for Halo Wars 2. But yeah, I really think it's good.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and grab another question. Okay, we got one here from Invader Gaming. Shout out Invader Gaming. Thanks for coming out watching, brother. He said, do you guys think Alan Wake is Remedy's next game? And do you guys think it'll be a Microsoft exclusive again? I'll go ahead and throw that to you, Mooch.
I originally would have said yes, but I'm not sure. Now I heard the Alan Wake thing was just like it could be like a DLC thing or something. But do I think maybe they will make an Alan Wake 2 in the future? Yes. Do I think it'll be a Microsoft thing? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go ahead on a limb and say that Remedy, until something happens at Microsoft to prove us wrong, Remedy is Microsoft's Naughty Dog. So they unofficially, they don't own Remedy by no means. I don't want to lead anyone the wrong way on that. They're an independent company, but they've only been doing AA work, the AA contract, if you will, with it's AAA game. I'm talking about second party source, and I don't see Remedy and Microsoft ever parting ways because Phil's a stickler when it comes to time. And Phil has a huge place in his heart for Remedy because he lets Remedy take as long as they want, and he doesn't let other companies do that. So I don't think Remedy's going anywhere. I think Remedy's very happy with what we call Microsoft money. Microsoft money is like hanging out at Fort Knox. It's like being your own version of DuckTales. You open that door and just dive into a room of gold coins. So why these developers ever? Why they ever, not Remedy, but why these other developers ever talk bad about Microsoft? My God, you don't know shit about business.
Seriously.
I would never. I don't care if Microsoft came into my business and they could have ridiculed the shit out of me. I'm just like, you're not taking that check away, are you? Please don't do that. So, literally, I have no idea. So to answer your question in short, though, Remedy's not going anywhere. Alan Wake would be a very welcomed revision to come back into the Xbox family of games, and I think that's something that Phil would like to have in his portfolio. So I hope they do that, and Remedy's not going anywhere. That would be a Microsoft exclusive.
Mooch, hold on real quick.
Yeah.
If let Microsoft get wind that Remedy's trying to make a game for Sony, you would see them all over that company.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Real quick, hell no. How much you want?
Yeah. What do you need?
Real quick, before we move on. Alan Wake would be really awesome, and I loved Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 would be really cool, but I'd much rather see like a reboot of Max Payne, probably with this new gen and everything, with the Quantum Break engine and stuff. That would be pretty dope.
The only problem is that's I believe that's now owned by Rockstar. So
oh really?
Yeah, Rockstar has
say in that anymore.
I don't think they have any say in it. Yeah, they made the first two, and then it was a wrap.
Yeah, they
after
sold
that.
it.
So
Rockstar
they sold it. I believe.
Rockstar made Max Payne 3, which was a hell of a game, by the way.
Yeah, it was actually really good. It was a really underrated game too.
Very
All
good.
right, so I'm gonna take 3 more questions. So we got a lot. There's a lot of people in here. We got a lot of questions. So I'm gonna take 3 more, everybody. I'm gonna get to as many as I can. So I got a question here from Key Hall. Shout out Key Hall for coming out, checking us out, rocking out. So he says, what predictions do you have for E3 in regards to hardware announcements, Slim, VR, or both? I'm gonna go ahead and throw this to you, Pred.
Let me see. VR, they're already bundled with Oculus Rift. Hardware.
Well, he didn't say a specific company. He just said just E3 like announcements, hardware
you said
announcements.
VR, and I thought you said VR.
Oh, he said Slim or VR. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe a Slim. I don't think we're gonna see. I don't think the Xbox One right now can run anything as far as upgrades for external GPU, etc. Just the bandwidth and the ports and stuff like that. So, I mean, and I think we're a couple of years away from that. Maybe they're doing it right now, working on it and getting it ready, but I don't think we'll see anything upgradable. We might see a Slim or another Xbox, like another version, how we went from the original 360 to the Xbox Slim. But like other than that, I don't think we're gonna see anything from E3 as far as hardware goes. Um, as far as a new console or upgradable, that stuff that we were talking about before, that's just my opinion. I don't work for Microsoft.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I just don't see it happening right now. I mean, even though, and maybe the pressure's been put on them because they're talking about the new PlayStation 4.5 or whatever it is, but
Hmm.
and maybe that might put some pressure on Microsoft to push out something. But I'd rather them take their time. If they're going to come out with another console, take your time and get the
Yeah.
shit done right.
My
And
thing
I
with
and I,
that,
go ahead,
good.
Paul. Oh well, I've been on record. Honestly, I don't necessarily feel like they need even a redesign at this point. This generation is not going to last as long as we're not going to be playing Xbox One for 10 years. So I mean, I'm thinking maximum 6 years. Six would probably be max. I'm thinking right around that range. So I mean, maybe a redesign will help, sales boost or something like that. A smaller console in the home. But I honestly don't think, when I put that box by my TV, I don't really look at it like, oh man, that thing needs to be smaller. It's really not in the way of anything. It has its own spot on the shelf. So, other than that, as far as like hardware upgrades, we are getting that rumor about Sony and 4.5, and I think it's something that both companies honestly are throwing around. Let's take a step back, everybody. Everybody from Nintendo to Microsoft to Sony, they're going to be doing something completely different. I mean, just take a look at the NX. We have no idea what that console is going to be. It could be something completely left field, and most likely will be knowing Nintendo. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that these companies are looking at doing things like that. I think right now they're kind of testing the waters, and you got to remember this is a chess match. They're trying to find, positioning. Okay, is this going to be something that we can actually do? Is it going to be popular, or is this going to be even doable? So I think there's a lot of stuff coming out about that right now. But at E3 in particular, I don't think we'll see anything as far as hardware from anybody outside of like we know about Sony VR and everything like that. But I'm not thinking we're going to see anything as far as from Microsoft about a hardware upgradable or anything like that. But go ahead, Paul. You can have something different to say.
Well, yeah, I was kind of like when Sony comes out with like, hey, we're gonna do like a 4.5 after Microsoft just talked about like upgrading a console possibly. That always gets me to where I think maybe at E3 we might see like the Slim actually be a more powerful console. Maybe, hey, the Slim's going to be an upgraded console. And then, because let's be honest here, Sony usually copies a lot of what Microsoft is doing, like streaming the PC. Hey, look, now they want
Uh-oh.
to do it. So,
Uh-oh.
so when I start hearing this stuff, I'm kind of like, well, is Microsoft really going to bring out a upgraded console? Possibly. That could be the Slim. Who knows?
Who knows? I'll never know. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and take this final question. It's from Aaron at Scorpter, always in here. Shout out, Aaron. Appreciate you rocking out with us today. He says, I heard we were getting AAA games for Games with Gold in April. Could we see Dead Rising 3 and Rise for April Games with Gold, or what games do you think we will get? So I'm going to go ahead and throw this to all three guys. I did see this myself in particular. I don't know if it was some kind of picture or a leak. I'm not exactly sure. Or there was some information about possibility of Rise being one of the games for Dead Rising 3. I think Microsoft should have been did that shit.
Yeah,
Nobody's
for
playing
sure.
Rise or Dead Rising 3 right now. I don't know how much money Capcom or Crytek is making off of those games. So they should have been made those games as far as added them to the games with gold, free games or whatever the case may be. That's just my opinion. I said that months ago. So I'm hoping we do see those for April, but you never know. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that to GKB.
Yeah, I think that would be really awesome if you haven't played Rise or Dead Rising 3. They're fantastic games, especially Rise. Rise is a beautiful game. But possibly for like new people getting the Xbox One, maybe they don't have enough money to pick up a lot of AAA titles, but if you got golds, you're getting possibly 2 AAA titles right there to add to your collection right off the bat. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your opinion on that, Mooch?
Well, I mean, it's not even speculation. I'm hearing from a lot of different sources now that April is going to be a huge Games with Gold. Could it be those games? Sure. I'm actually thinking a little bit bigger because I was on the Rise and Dead Rising 3 bandwagon for Games with Gold, maybe like 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking larger. I don't really have a game to throw out there because it would be. I tend to look at sales. Okay. Not sales like Sony talks. I'm talking about like on sale games. And I've noticed for 2 months now, 2 months, one was a lot of Microsoft pushing Batman Arkham Knight on the Best Buy and Amazon sale. I picked it up for $14 2 months ago from Best Buy online, brand new. And now they're doing they did their last week's sale with Batman Arkham Knight for, I don't know what it was, 60% off. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was like $23. I think that could be a game. That's a huge game, by the way. You put that out there for free. Shit, I'm gonna be pissed. I bought it for $14, but I'm like, shit, I stole this for $14. No, apparently not. But to be honest with you, that I look at those types of trending games that have been on sale that Microsoft really promotes for the last couple, and then when they say they're gonna give something away, I'm like, ooh, that might be something where they've said, listen, we're going to work with you, Rockstar. We're going to make sure that as many people actually give you money as possible for the next 2 months, 3 months, and then we're going to put this shit for free, so don't ding me too hard when each person downloads that. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of let them get their plethora of money. Secondly, this is a great answer to all the people who have been a little frustrated with Win 10 getting free Xbox Live and us having to pay for it. If this is the way Microsoft's going to go, and don't expect what happens in April necessarily to be every month, but even if it's every other month or every third month where you get a game of the caliber of Batman, you got to calm down, because listen, whether or not it's $14, $23, a lot of people don't pay attention to what we all pay attention to. Imagine coming home, not being in the YouTube or Twitter community, not being part of this huge gaming community that exists, and you come home one day and right on your home screen it says Batman Arkham Knight is free to download. You'd be like, what? That's amazing.
Yeah,
yes.
That'd
you
be
know,
pretty,
so
I'd be pretty happy.
it's really great, man. It's really great. So Microsoft is listening, like they always do. Another thing Sony does not give their customers. You can see the latest preview member build came out for us, and Mike Ybarra tweeted out that the snap of achievements was not going to be there, and a lot of people that are huge achievement hunters, I saw them all write in. I follow them. They follow me. They all wrote in. They're like, Mike, don't do that. Don't you dare do that.
I remember that too. Shout out Rand, man.
Yeah, Rand. Well,
Rand, man.
And Rand goes, don't you dare do that to me. And literally 3 days later, Mike Ybarra goes, okay, next patch is coming back. That is an insane amount of communication we have with probably the richest company in the world. That's insane to be able to have that kind of ability to discuss what it is we think. Just a shout out to Jez, who does a lot for Xbox Mad, and he put a thing out on the Xbox.com request center where he was saying that they should make the Elite controller one of the paddles in the back to be able to make it so that we can make one paddle to be screenshots and the other paddle to be X1 record that. For video, and that's awesome. Now, if you have the chat pad, there's 2 hot buttons for that, so you can do that with the chat pad. But a lot of us, including me, have the Elite controller, and I don't really use the paddles for gaming that much. I use it more for the short triggers, and I like the weight of the controller. So that's why I was into the Elite. And if you could tell me that I could put 2 paddles on the back, one being record that one snapshot, I'm in. Yeah, I mean, I'm setting those up like right now. So, like, I'm all about that, because I don't always I have the chat pad, but I don't always have it in. I usually have it, like, next to me or in the drawer. So, it's a fantastic, but my point being is that Jez was able to tweet that out today, and, like, I think 1,500 people immediately, like, bang, voted for it. So, and you need more than 1,500, but in minutes it got up there. It's such an amazing way we can communicate with such a powerful company, and that they listen to us. And the Japanese, they don't care.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not busting the ball. They don't care.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that.
Shout
but
out
like,
to my Japanese viewers too, man.
Yeah, all one and a half of them.
I'm gonna come up with like a statement before Moochie start talking. I'm gonna come up with like a button that I can hit and say this whatever this comes out of his mouth does not reflect on everybody.
You ever see the movie Private Parts, Howard Stern? PTK's got a red phone in GKB's office right now, and he picks it up whenever I'm talking, and it mutes me and goes right to elevator music. No, what it is, listen, we don't have.
Mooch, man.
Absolutely, PTK, we family, man. But listen, what I'm saying is that we don't have a whole lot of. Listen, this goes for me too. Okay, you may have like 3 Japanese viewers. I've got like 1. My point is that they're just not, they're not into our system. They're not into it, and that's okay. That's not something to get your blood boiled over. But they don't listen to their fans. They've been asking for folders. They've been asking for the ability to change their gamer tag for almost like 9 years. You know, and they're not doing it. You know, and then they were like, "Can you do backwards compatibility?" They were like, "No." So it was like, all right, well, that's not happening. So I mean, they just don't listen. The proof's in the pudding here. This is not me. This is not me with my rambles and my rants. It's nothing to do with that. Mikey Barra tweets out on Tuesday, "I'm removing this." 5, 10, 15 people write, "Don't do that. We need that. We really like it." Thursday, it's back in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's faster than a wrong
he has
order
done
of
that multiple times.
And that's good on the Microsoft, on having an owner like we do with Phil. Like he gets in chat, he games with some of us. You know, I don't know if Sony has a counterpart like that does that on their side. I mean, and if he does, you don't hear
they're
about
very
it.
interactive. Yeah, they're very interactive. That's one of the biggest things about when Phil took over. One of he's a real gamer and he promotes that type of environment. I just think that Microsoft as a whole, with Satya, they're just a well-oiled machine as far as like manageable. If you remember Microsoft when Bill was running it was like a fucking robot. It was, what I'm saying? It was either you're in or you're out.
Man.
It was suits, just nothing but suits. Even Balmer, even we started to change once Balmer got in, but with Satya now and Phil, I just think they really like to promote the fans and their consumers and things like that. So I enjoy it. But go ahead and answer this also too. What do you think about games with Gold Predator? When we get your take on that before we head out.
We were talking about Rise and what else? Like you said, man.
Yeah, Dead Rising 3
came
possible.
out. Yeah, Rise should have been came out. Like, I really wish that they would have bundled Rise and a couple other launch titles that no one really plays anymore for this Christmas. That would have been awesome.
Somebody said Sunset Overdrive.
I saw that in chat.
Yeah.
That was like a highly
awesome
underrated game. That'd be another great
game. Yeah, that game
was
fucking phenomenal, man.
Whoever said that, tip of the hat, man. I didn't even think of that. Great game to put out there.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Pred. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I didn't have much else to add to it. I mean, like you said, man, that game should have came out a long time ago. Dead Rising as well should have came out in backwards compat. Because I think a lot of the launch titles, with the exception of those two and maybe Local Cycle, hasn't
oh man,
hasn't been on back compat. It has not back compat, but they haven't been released on games with gold. So that would be 2 great selling points for them to have those out. But they have to announce it, so everyone else knows it. Because we're in the gaming community, we know. But the random, mom and pop out there picking up a Xbox One for their kids aren't going to know these games are out there like that. Yeah. I think they've done a really shitty job with marketing their games with gold and backwards compat to the people who aren't in the know.
Yeah, just their messaging in general has been really crap this time.
Yeah, they definitely. I know they had to hire their new PR department, but we're not gonna go get in all of that. We playing these fucking games. That's all we care about on this podcast. But that looks like that's it, everybody. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this Saturday session of the Shop Podcast, man. Got a lot of people in here, man. It's almost 80 people in here. That's probably the most I've ever had in a podcast. That's fantastic. I want to say thank you, everybody, for taking your time out this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody get themselves their shout-outs. Go ahead, Paul, give yourself a shout-out, bro.
What's up, everybody? GKB. Big shout-out to everybody watching us. Scorpto, Invader, She-Wolf out there. Always rocking it. I see Titanfall Princess, too. You can find me on Twitter, GKB, Gamers Knows Best. On YouTube, Gamers Knows Best. I'll let everybody else go ahead.
Go ahead and give yourself a shout-out, Predator.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on again. It's always fun when I can get in here with you guys. Make sure you guys check out my podcast. It's called the Xbox After Party. I'm going to start trying to do it every Monday. I've been busy. Me and Blam lied to you guys, man. Me and him have been playing the Division. That's why he had to.
Don't do it. Oh.
Hey.
Blam's been busy too, man. We've both been busy working. But yeah, I've been off for about a week and a half too, man. I haven't been able to get anything started. My last podcast file got corrupted, and I got pissed off and didn't put anything out. So I'm gonna do another podcast Monday and. Tune in, follow, subscribe, and if not, I do come in here with Blam and I do the console portal every now and then too, so find me there.
For sure, for sure. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let Mooch shout yourself out, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, PTK. Yeah, usual suspects joining me on Crossfire Podcast Friday 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the Lord's time. And PTK, I gotta get that jab in on you, bro. You always catch me on with the Zod Fathers, your Next Gen's channel on BGST, where it all began. Give your respects where it's due. And I'll be honest with you, it's great to do these kinds of podcasts because I got to meet GKB on this podcast. I just got to hang out with Predator. GKB, you've been on my show. PTK, yeah, I got to get Predator on my show real soon, man. I like this man. Man knows what he's talking about. He's got a sensible mind. I like to hear that, man. He's got good things to say. So I'll hook up with you, Predator, offline. I'd like to get you on Crossfire one time real soon if you're available.
Sounds good.
Look at me making connections. Did I get a cut of that check?
Oh, yeah, man. 5% finder's fee.
Okay. Make sure.
You already know.
Nah, you know how it is. We all family in here, guys. We're going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys coming. Appreciate you guys taking your time out today. Once again, I will be doing some more videos throughout the week. I got this great idea, and I'm probably going to run it by you guys all here soon. But obviously, I'll get with my buddies. We'll all discuss it, see what everybody wants to do. We'll figure everything out. But I'll be having some videos coming up this week. Catch the Shop podcast again next Saturday. I may start doing it at this 4 p.m. time. It seems like this works a little bit better for a lot of people. So I may move it to 4 p.m. But thank you guys for coming. Anybody got anything else they want to say? Oh, before I do that, shout out Asthmatic. He probably got his ass sitting on Division right now. It's cool, brother. We still love you. Yeah, we still love you. Shout out to Asthmatic. Also, shout out to She Wolf, Titanfall Princess, everybody in the chat that rocked out with us today. Anybody got anything else to say before we head out?
No.
Man.
All right, everybody. For sure. You guys have a good weekend. We'll see you on that Xbox and PlayStation if you have it.
See you in the dark zone.
All right, everybody. All right, later. Y'all have a good one. We out.